This area does not seem to contain any resources that are required to construct the rift station, so it was not marked as important.
The Metal Terror DLC starts with a meteor. After scanning the impact crater with the geoscanner, we find out that this meteor has some wildly fantastical properties. After a short conversation about what it's made of, what it's doing, and why it fell right next to our headquarters, Ashley and Mr. Riggs decided to investigate further and explore another, more ancient impact crater that has a similar composition to this one. This crater is located in a large valley that's rich in heavy metals, so off we go to the metallic valley.
Rift jump successful.
As usual, the first thing I would do in another biome is to look around and scan every life form that I come across.
This place looks like a completely different planet. The plants and rocks look like they've been fused with the heavy metals that are so abundant here.
I have finished
And after a while, Mr. Riggs will point us to something that's emitting dark energy waves.
strong emitters within this area.
Look at these structures.
Following
These
these
aren't
dark
natural.
energy wave emissions
They must
will bring
have
us to an
been
alien
an
ruin
advanced
that clearly does
civilization.
not belong with the local
I can
biome.
even see some wreckage.
In order to learn
Are
more
these
about the
remnants
alien
of an
civilization,
ancient native
we need to build a
civilization,
research station
or
nearby
has
and defend
someone
it from
visited
enemy
this planet
attacks.
before us? This raises so many questions.
After the research station finished studying the ruins, we found out about morphium, a liquid metal that can morph into mutually lighter or heavier elements. After pumping out some morphium from a nearby pool, we need to connect it to an intake valve of a wreckage in front of the ruin, which turns out to be a Morpheme Tower.
It's working. What is it doing?
Morpheme Tower is an essential part of this entire DLC, as it allows us to break down these alien walls that would otherwise block our access to the inner part of the ruin.
That was guarding the entrance to the crater has just been assimilated by that metal surface.
Was that a gate left here on purpose?
After successfully accessing the interior of the first ruin, we can then unlock the research necessary to build our own Morpheme Towers, as well as Morpheme power plants. Mr. Riggs will also point us to a couple more dark energy emitters which will lead us to other ruins. To access these ruins, we can simply build our own Morpheme Towers near the alien walls and connect them to nearby Morpheme pools. After accessing these ruins, Mr. Riggs can reverse engineer some of the technologies. We can then research them to unlock energy walls and heavy plasma. After exploring all three ruins, Mr. Riggs will be able to find more dark energy emitters in another location. But first, make sure we have a well-defended outpost on this map, because we will be coming back here again.
Rift jump successful.
After rift jumping to the new biome, Mr. Riggs will need some time to gather data.
The exact
In
location.
the meantime, we can explore the area and scan everything in the vicinity.
Roger that, Mr. Riggs. Let's scout the area. Maybe we can find that spot ourselves.
After a while, Mr. Riggs will point us into a source of dark energy waves, which will lead us to what seems to be a crash site.
Hit the ground in, this
In the
spot and
center,
broke up
we
into
will find the ship's core, and we need to provide power to this core to learn more about the aliens who crashed it.
In more detail. We could power up
We can also find some defensive towers around the crash sites, so make sure we take care of them before
Do you
setting
think
up
we
a
could
power
get some
grid.
data out of the ship's computer.
I think that could be possible. At least we could learn more about how their technology operates on a fundamental level.
Okay then, let's build up enough energy storage capacity, fill it up, and connect it to the ship's core.
After accumulating enough energy, we can simply walk up to the ship's core and it will be reactivated.
Are you seeing this? Do you understand what it's saying?
As it turns out, an alien consciousness is stored inside the core and will start to wake up.
Danger! Power grid overloaded.
And we can even have a
No.
conversation with it
We've
before
lost the
being
alien
cut short
core.
by a power overload.
Had contact with actual alien intelligence, and it's gone.
Warning! I'm receiving worrying
Not long
signals
after,
from the
Mr.
metallic
Riggs will receive worrying signals from Metallic Valley, so we have to go back there.
That timing is not a coincidence. Let's get there quickly.
Right after we jump back to Metallic Valley, we will be greeted by an incoming strong attack. Good thing we already have some defenses ready to fight it off. After repelling the attack, Mr. Riggs will reveal the location of several biofactories.
And their signatures look like hybrid biofactory.
They behave like a nest in other biomes, periodically sending out waves of enemies until we can destroy it.
Warning! A new group of hostile creatures is coming from a nearby nest.
Once we clear out the biofactories, there will be 2 new missions in the orbital scanner. First, we can go to the Morpheme Lake, where we can secure a huge amount of Morpheum and send it to our outpost via liquid compressors. We can use the Morpheum collected here to generate power, but since I'm already in the endgame and my outposts are already running on fusion power anyway, Morpheum is somewhat redundant for me at this point.
Disrupted the rift jump system.
Having said that, I went to the Morpheum Lake anyway, built a heavily fortified base, plus 5 compressors, sending out Morpheum that I may or may not use in the future. The next mission on the orbital scanner is to assault the biomanufacturing plateau. This biome is very likely to be the source of hostile attacks by the alien consciousness. It's heavily fortified and densely populated by hybrid critters, so make sure you are armed to the teeth before jumping in.
I think they're creating all these Florian creatures. They've been preparing to destroy it.
I'm detecting a rise in activity at the remaining biofactory locations. They are ramping up their efforts.
After clearing out every biofactory in the area, Mr. Riggs will tell us to go back to Metallic Valley immediately, where we will find a lot of alien pylons scattered all over the map.
Around our outpost, they have covered a significant portion of the land with that metallic surface.
After activating 5 of these pylons, there will be a brutal attack coming straight to our base, so make sure our defenses are prepped and ready.
All of these pylons emit a dark energy pulse upon activation. I was running data analysis all the time in the background.
After fighting off the attack, Mr. Riggs will have finished analyzing the data from the pylons we activated earlier, which points us to a new location.
I think we can assume that those were data transmissions.
This location is also the last mission in the Metal Terror quest line, where we can bring the fight to the source. The terrain in this biome looks like a maze, with alien walls crisscrossing the area and defensive towers popping up all over the place, so we can expect some intense fighting throughout the mission.
This narrow corridor is a complex maze of alien structures. It is going to be challenging to navigate through it, and we should expect extreme resistance.
When we find ourselves looking at a dead end, we can always build a Morpheme Tower. It will melt the surrounding walls, creating a shortcut through the maze.
More structures. We must dissolve them by placing Morpheme Towers next to the barricades. Dark matter
Or we can find another route which would be more heavily defended, but it's nothing to worry about if you have endgame equipment on Mr. Riggs.
All wind has stopped. Our wind turbines are down. Warning. Hostile creatures are coming from a nearby nest. We should go there and clear it out. We finally made it. We've reached the X-Morph core. It looks like it was severely damaged a long time ago.
At the end of the maze, we will find the X-Morph core. Here, the alien consciousness will try to convince us to download them into our mech, just like Mr. Riggs. We can either do what the alien says, or simply destroy the core.
Thankfully, you were able to destroy our rogue replicants. Ashley, let us help each other.
If we choose not to buy into their story and destroy the core, the entire thing will collapse and Mr. Riggs can jump us out to safety.
You cannot destroy us that easily. We will find your world and we'll meet again. Time is on our side.
Has the force field lifted? Can we make the jump?
Negative. I can't establish rift jump coordinates.
We made it out at the last second. This adventure almost ended our mission on Galatea 37.
Ashley, let us help each other. Do not destroy our species. No, Ashley, this is a mistake. Thank you, Ashley. Transfer of consciousness is in progress. Memory compromised.
And if we choose to trust the alien and download their mind into our mech, Mr. Riggs will get overridden by the alien mind, but will overload his system at the last minute to force the alien out,
No, Mr. Riggs!
resulting in the destruction of the alien core. The entire thing will collapse and Mr. Riggs can jump us out to safety, so the choice we make regarding the alien core is more or less irrelevant.
This thing
In
is
the end,
collapsing.
the alien will be destroyed and we will unlock the tech to make a cool laser sword.
We made it out, but this core overload almost killed us.
In the end, this DLC is very much enjoyable from start to finish. Despite being somewhat repetitive with the missions, it offers a new experience, fighting another would-be colonizer on Galatea 37. I don't recommend doing the DLC questline in the endgame though, because at that point, anything this DLC has to offer will be simply overshadowed by the things you will have in the endgame. As I mentioned earlier, harnessing Morpheme into power is more or less obsolete once you unlock fusion power. The weapons you unlock for clearing the entire questline is literally a sword, just with energy damage. There's nothing really special about it, just a different look and damage type. And although the heavy plasma is more interesting with deployable shields, most of the enemies on this biome can simply resist energy damage anyway. So we need to go somewhere else for both of these weapons to be useful. And what little protection offered by Morpheme Towers can be easily surpassed by a combination of towers with different damage types. But for the equivalent price of a burger or two, even less if you get it on sale, this DLC is definitely worth spending your lunch money on. This is Darwin Stein signing off.